Coming straight from the underground.
SD, I represent.
Coming straight from the
West Side.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Pleb Underground. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I'm your host, Phil. So we're going to kick off the week with some solid hopium, huge signals. That's right, guys. It's time to pay attention. It is time to pay attention. What are we going to be paying attention to, right? We're going to pay attention to the bounce from the bottom of the percentile from the power law chart, maybe potential inverse head and shoulder targets north of 70K. Nobody knows. Nobody knows where we're going. We're also going to take a look at some other hopium, indicating that we're just around the corner from 437K. Right there. Right there. Maybe not. Let's be honest here. The Bitcoin bears, right? Their time is coming. It's coming to an end, right? They're about to start having a horrible time, and of course, we've got charts to prove it any day now. What else do we got? We're going to look at the MACD. That's right. The moving average convergence divergence just flipped bullish. So when do we start to see something? We're at the point now where Grok is starting to do more TA, and we are going to examine some Grok TA. Prepare yourselves for this, guys. What else? What else? Some more Bitcoin lore. Bitcoin has never spent more than 9 red months in the bear market. This time different? That's right. Maybe it is. What else? We've got some other revised price targets of 140K. We're going to take a look at that. Power law projections show that the cycle top is in 2029. Womp, womp. So there you go. All the people that are saying that all of a sudden we're going to be sitting at like, $200,000 and $300,000 in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Well, the power law says something a little different. Of course, almost every model says something slightly different. What else? We're going to take a look at the exchange reserves, right? We're always told that the reserves, they're always at lows, right? We're just about to have some type of a supply shock, right? Any day now. And of course, we're going to take a look at another Bitcoin treasury company that bites the dust. That's right. EMPD sells more of their Bitcoin. What a surprise. You'll never guess what strategy they are pivoting to. I'll give you a hint. It's the same as everyone else that showed up to this space to grift. AI. But we're also going to take a look at the landscape, right? Because obviously the timing on these types of deals, it matters, doesn't it? It matters. Then we're going to take a look at some fun Bitcoin games. That's right, guys. Get ready. Action-packed Monday, action-packed week. Let's freaking do it. Pleb Underground is sponsored by Archimedes Emporium. Discover the pinnacle of precision engineering, starting with their Bitcoin logo wall clock, meticulously machined in Maine from a solid block of aerospace-grade aluminum, ensuring unparalleled durability and performance. Experience the difference of a product made without compromise. Head on over to Archimedes Emporium. All right, before we dive into the numbers, good morning, Bitcoin Beacon, Jin Dung, Mike Sykes, good morning. Good morning, Turbo, Phil, Sat Stacker, Johnny Midas, Clean Your Machine. There we go. What's going on here? Hey, Phil, like strategy and Sailor's tweets just to lure the retail. Yeah, of course, right? Well, he's, so it's interesting, right? We're going to pull up, we talked about this last week too. He started to give his take on the BIP 110 stuff. And of course, those people don't like that. And, throughout the weekend, we saw a whole bunch of, misframing, where essentially there is this false dichotomy between digital gold proponents and digital money proponents. That is not correct. Right? Like, that is just not correct at all, because the reality is that both of those things are simply just qualities of Bitcoin. So the people that are essentially trying to, once again, put Bitcoin in a box that they understand, you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay. Anyways, don't worry. We're gonna talk about more of that stuff because there is some totally stupid crap that's going on with the BIP 110 things, and we're actually gonna talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. But today, let's do it. Bitcoin fiat exchange 62,464. New all-time high on the block height 957,878. Sometimes I feel like I'm reading the same number over and over again, and I probably am for some things. 1 sat per VByte. Oh no. Oh no. Total public lightning capacity 4,451. iPhones per BTC62, and you're getting 16% of a house per Bitcoin. And I got to tell you guys this, okay? This is something that's really bad. The 1 sat per VByte, right? When you're trying to convince people that crap is filling the blocks, right? Spam, arbitrary data, whatever you want to call it, right? And you're trying to tell people that transactions are getting crowded out and people are getting rejected. It's really tough to make a case like that when the Bitcoin network is pretty much at the cheapest it's ever been to use. Yeah, sound like morons. Anyways, it's okay. To each their own. Everybody's allowed to do what they want. Voluntary network. Bitcoin is for anyone that chooses to run the software and secure their Bitcoin privately, doing all that good stuff. Okay, that's all it is. That's simple. Okay, all right. Done with the moralizing about Bitcoin. We will do that tomorrow a little bit more. That's right. It is DCA day, right? It's almost like every Sunday night it dumps, and it's almost like every Monday it continues to dump. I remember once upon a time when we had weekend pumps. Those were fun. I feel like that was, what was that, like a month ago? We had weekend pumps. We don't know. Nobody knows. All right, here we go, guys. Jelly, crypto jelly, weekly bullish divergence right on top of the previous cycle highs. It's time to pay attention. Is it though? Any day now, guys. Any day. So you can see essentially what we are supposed to end up seeing over here is how it's now going to break to the upside. And again, this isn't the only chart that's showing this particular thing. There's a lot of people that are all touting the same message. Doesn't mean it's right. It just means that that's where the narrative is right now. Okay. So Cena, our boy Cena, let's go. Would be miraculous if we bounce right from the bottom. Percentile. That's right. That's right. Gotta tell you, I gotta tell you, this band over here, though, this band is starting to look a little wide. It is starting to look a little wide. We'll see. All right, super Bitcoin, bro. Let's do it. The 12-hour potential inverse head and shoulder targets. All right, so north of 70K. You know what? Just for the sake of it, let's go take a look. That's right. We're going to pull up the old chart. I don't care about the daily. I just care about the month. All right. We are definitely holding steady on the month. Let's go take a look at the week. See, so this is an interesting type of thing that you end up seeing with the Heiken Ashi pattern, right? On the weekly, you can see that we are below this cloud, right? So that would indicate overhead resistance. However, when you look at the monthly, right, and you zoom out, we are still slightly above this. So we've got some support, and if we continue to do this trend, good possibility that around December that it maybe starts to move higher. Who knows? Who knows? All I know is I'm good with this. It's fine. I'm a happy camper. I get to live to fight another day, and that's all I care about. Hey, hard hodl. That's right. DCA to BTC. Good morning. Good morning, free RS guides. This is what we're all waiting for, guys. This breakout that Bitcoin Bro is showing over here, this breakout to that particular level and then turning that level into support does, in fact, change the game at the very least in the near term. So, yep, not there yet. Not there yet. But I'll tell you this, the bears, right, this morning on the dump, we did not dump as hard. We went to like 62K or something like that. So, sorry, I'm... Take a look here. Where were we? Not even 62. 62.44. Those pushes down are weakening. I wouldn't want to be sitting on the sidelines right now. Anyways, not financial advice. Bitcoin is going to 437K. So you already know this is like totally delusional hopium in the near term. It's a Francafetta post, right? And there you go. We've got no prices on the right, just lines. So look at the top of the channel. I know, me too, Phil. I also like I think look, I love his opium, dude. I love it, but I can't help this, right? Like it's like there's no numbers. It's just the top of the band, 437K. Let's go. I mean, by that same logic, I could have put 700K up there, But I appreciate it. I know I'm a fan of the Francafetta hopium. And again, he pretty much just takes all of Check on Chain stuff and reposts it. So it's like, hey, don't want to pay for Check on Chain's newsletter? Just follow Frank. That's terrible and mean. Not advice, right? Not financial advice or all those other things that make people liable. All right, here we go. James Easton, UK. Hi. Huge signal. Let's freaking go. The copper gold. I got to say, a few months ago when I was looking at this copper gold stuff, I was saying to myself, you know what? I've never really looked at these metrics before. Maybe this time it is different. And this is the stuff I wasn't paying attention to last time. Well, you know what? Several months later, I'm that skeleton at the bottom of the ocean. I'm still waiting for these copper gold moving average convergence averages to play out and mean something. Okay. The skeleton drowning at the bottom of the bottom of the ocean. Anytime the copper gold MACD has flipped bullish, BTC has always gone to new all-time highs. May the bull gods let history repeat. We're not supposed to pray to false idols. Just saying. Maybe we leave the bull out of it. Maybe we just leave it to God, right? Say, listen, we don't place anyone in front of you. It's just you. You don't know. Maybe that helps us. All right, and here we go. Like, look, we're getting all the signals. The signals are all that, hey, we're about to turn, okay? But think of it as a pendulum sway, right? As the pendulum sways, you're still at the same time, the chart is still kind of doing this up and down thing, right? So even though we are going higher, there is still an ebb and flow to this. So, but what's he pointing to? What exactly is he pointing to? All right, the arrow points to 320K, so let's freaking go. I'll take that. I'll take your 320K, sir. I will take that. Yeah, I think it is. I do think it is. We're right there, like you can see it, and we've never seen this type of action between copper, gold, and Bitcoin. So this is very peculiar. What does it all mean? All right, here we go. James Easton, kicking the bears. Bitcoin bears are in for a horrible time. I think they are too. That's why I'm bullish on Bitcoin. Look at these drawdowns, guys. Like everyone hates Bitcoin right now. Full stop. Okay? Full stop. You've got people that are cheering for a fork that somehow believe that the Bitcoin price is correlated to their thing about arbitrary data, right? You've got all these other people talking about, including myself, right? Talking about how treasury companies are selling off their Bitcoin to pivot into other businesses. So look, Bitcoin is almost at that magical point where it's never going to come back up again. We're almost there. I tend to think we're already there. And now we're just kind of in the noise of that area. Because I mean, think about it, right? In 2026 alone, we're in July. There's already been, I think, over 28 Bitcoin is dead, or 28 Bitcoin obituaries already. So yeah, I think we're good. What are we missing from the indicators, Rourke? The only indicator that was worth following was the McRib indicator, and that failed big time. So I don't believe any. Yeah, look, I can't disagree with you. The McRib indicator was solid. It was. Will it ever work again? Maybe when the business cycle cleans itself up a little bit, it'll work again. Who knows? Okay. Anyways, next slide. Let's do it. Hey, that's right, Phil. We've got your hopium on deck here. Not sure if the Bitcoin bottom is in. There we go. The moving average convergence divergence has just flipped bullish. You knew this was going to be you. Very nice. Very nice chart. And look at that. Does it not look very similar? Right? To James Easton's? See, that's another thing that I look for, right? It's not just about the people shilling the hopium. It has to do with the convergence of the messaging, right? Like when you start to see more different sources converging on similar messaging, doesn't mean that it's accurate, right? But it just means that a lot of these different people, possibly using different tools, are coming to very similar conclusions. Or in some cases, they're all using the same tools, which, could be interesting in its own right. What is it? McRib and full moon indicators for the win. I'm not going to say what I thought FTW stood for. I am a Gen X, and I thought it was F the world. I was pretty positive that that's what FTW stood for, but then Ulrich let me know that it meant for the win, which is boring and not as fun. Anyways, F the world is much better. Much, much better. All right, here we go, guys. Here we go. This is what we've come to. We're just gonna draw lines on the chart. There you go. Nebraska Gooner. Day one of drawing a big arrow on the Bitcoin chart until it's back above 80K. Now, this is the hopium I live for. Boom. That's what you need. Nothing else. Arrow up and to the right. But wait. Maybe Nebraska Gooner is not convincing you enough. Maybe you need more sources. Don't worry. We're going there. So this account, hey Grok, draw a red line where you think Bitcoin will go from here in 2028. This is the second bullish divergence on the weekly ever. Is that bullish? Boom. There it is, guys. Okay? There it is. Up and to the right. Now, where does this line point? 400K. Okay. So look, the other line was stopping at 320. This one is going all the way 400K. Let's frickin' go. Let's frickin' go. All right. We've got this one here from Cyclop. Bitcoin has never had more than 9 red month candles in bear markets. I appreciate the use of the Wojaks here. I pretty much cycle between this guy at the top who looks like he's in the sunshine and this guy with the red face. I pretty much just cycle between those two guys in perpetuity. Look, we even have a little video of this, right? So we can see what's happening. 365 days. It's interesting because the simulation, I just want to point out, is not 365 days. The simulation numbers are 364 days. So there might be a couple of days off from each other. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference because there's multiple simulations, there's multiple models, there's multiple extrapolations as to where Bitcoin's going to go and how long it's going to take. What does he think the bottom? 43.5? Well, what is that? What is that? 51? I don't know if I buy the 51. I don't know if I buy it. There's no certainty going on in the, in the Middle East right now. There's all these there's all these different arguments happening. There's all political unrest. And of course, everybody, if you haven't been paying attention to the news, Lindsey Graham passed away yesterday. So it's like there's all this insecurity and everything, and yet Bitcoin is just kind of hovering at 62.2. Okay, food for thought, right? We're already in July, and the Clarity Act. Not that has anything to really do with Bitcoin, but it hasn't been passed yet. We've got nothing on the SBR, and I report on it all the time. What else? What else do we not have? There's got to be something else that I'm missing here. Anyways, point is, the Fort Knox audit. Right? The Fort Knox audit. Weren't we supposed to get some type of a Fort Knox? I mean, not that it makes a difference. I couldn't care less how much gold the U.S. government's going to report that it has. It's just a bunch of trust me, bro nonsense anyways. All right. Koosh, I appreciate this guy's hopium. This guy does some solid hopium. Yeah, Phil, people will start to ignore the Iran stuff, but at this point, it's just always focal. And because essentially, I think that as long as that continues to get blamed for price hikes and product shortages and stuff like that, it's always in the the general consciousness. So I don't disagree with you that people start to ignore it, but I just think right now it's part of the narrative, right? It's part of the narrative to justify things, and especially because let's be honest, right? The government can't actually control inflation, right? This is a LARP. This is a joke. They can't do it. And the reason why they can't do it is because they must print money into perpetuity until the system completely fails. And I know it's like, oh, Phil, that sounds insane. But that is how money works, because the first dollar that was made already had interest tied to it. Like, imagine before you earned your first dollar, you already owed $1.005. Where is that 005 going to come from if it doesn't exist? It's perpetual debt forever. Some people just can't wrap their minds around that. But that's what it is. It doesn't make a difference. Anyways, so the consensus price target we should be seeing by year end, 140K, but it's not. Oh, what is it? The Sat Stacker, the gold audit is peak government. Yes, I totally agree. It's this. It's the LARP of accountability, and governments, right? People in governments understand that. It's just about putting out the messaging. That's all it is. You don't even have to do anything. Just put out the message. What is it? Yeah, bookmark this. Recessions are a thing of the past. They won't allow what they will print. Look, man, I can't disagree with you. If you would have told me this back before the mortgage crisis, I would have said, that's insane. I would have said, you can't do that. But I had just gotten out into the workforce. I had just started my career, and I like, that was my first experience of the mortgage, right? Of being an adult and having responsibilities and having a market completely crater, right? So yeah, I totally agree with you. I don't think they'll ever let it happen again. Yeah, they're going to allow for volatility. 100%. They're going to allow for volatility. But the days of the 1929 market crash, the days of, Black Friday and, in 1987 and all that, those days are long gone, right? Yeah, that's right. If the message stops, that's right. This is, something that people tend to take lightly when it comes to disasters. If you've ever lived in a place where, let's say, you've lost power for more than a few days, you quickly understand how fast people de-evolve, okay? In situations when perceived resources are scarce, i.e., gas, food, apparently milk, bread, and toilet paper, okay? It's insane. Okay. And that's after like 3 days. Like, I remember this when I was in New England, in Massachusetts. We had this massive storm in October, right? And then all of a sudden there was like no power for like 5 days. People were screaming at each other in line at the gas station. There was a guy that went up and threw something at another guy, and then the other guy started freaking yelling back at him, reached into his car, started throwing shit. Like, this was nuts. Nobody was starving. Think about that, guys. All these people could just go home and eat. Nobody was starving. They could go to a gas station in a different state if they really had to. Think about that. So we really have no idea how truly insane it can become. So yes, Sat Stacker, long story short, they will never stop this, okay? It's always going to be a kick the can, because they have no choice but to kick the can. Anyways, Koosh, at this point, man, we're sitting at 62K. I'll take your 140. I'll take your 140 any day. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's do some power law projection hopium. This one's from TFTC. I don't know, Phil. I don't know if it was you that tagged me in this one, or I don't know, somebody tagged me in this one. Yeah, Phil, I think it was you. Here we go.
Real. What would the median line be for the top of the next cycle right now?
So if we assume that the 4-year cycle is real, that means it's going to be 2029, right? And let's just say somewhere 2029 November. All right. The OLS there, you can see 386,000, median 365,000. On a low case, Q0, 184,000. And on a really fun case, which is put that Q100 back, which is really looking like, you know, by the way, those things are technically possible, but they
We got $1 million Bitcoin.
$1 million Bitcoin, but let's look at the Q90 there, $500,000 Bitcoin. Another interesting thing is to look at the multiple over under the curve itself. That's what you see in the parentheses there in the tooltip. So a 3x multiple used to be more popular. It used to happen, let's say, it was more prevalent. Now, I think that's less rare, but getting to a 1.4x, 1.5x, totally possible. And by the way,
I mean, look, it's solid hopium. You know, these technicians spend a lot of time looking at this. So I just can't shake the thought that we create patterns even when patterns do not exist. So that's also true about the human mind. So, you know, and both things are not mutually exclusive, right? Like Bitcoin doing what it does and us creating patterns out of nothing, it doesn't make a difference, right? Like both of them could still be true. And look, ACP, I didn't dismantle it. Okay. Come on, you got to give me credit for that. All right, here we go. Some Sani XP. Let's do it. Guys, if you don't follow Sani XP, you should. He is the only Chainalysis. If you are going to follow Chainalysis of any type, Sani XP to me is the only account to follow. No, not sponsored by Sani or anything like that, just from my own experience. Anyways, here we go, guys. Exchange reserves are 10,088 Bitcoin from making a new all-time high. That's right. All those people that were selling the scarcity news, right? It's the exchanges, they have less and less Bitcoin. There's going to be a liquidity crisis. Guys, again, it's the skeleton at the bottom of the ocean. We've been waiting for a liquidity crisis, okay, or something like that from the exchanges. Probably, I've been hearing this since like 2018. Something like that, 2019. And I remember the original narrative was this. The original narrative was this. We were going to get this this supply crunch when the institutions arrived. So now the narrative was in 2017 that the institutions were arriving, right? Because we got the news about Fidelity and Bakkt. But guess what? No supply crunch. Now we have the ETFs. Right? ETFs, they're buying all this physical Bitcoin, right? No supply crunch. When does it happen? Or is it that low IQ plebs like me can just simply see that, hey, as Bitcoin's nominal value goes up, you simply need to sell, if you're going to, right? You simply need to sell less and less of it for the same purchasing power. So yeah, there's never actually going to be a supply crunch. It's just such nonsense. Yeah. Oh, there you go, Rourke. Yeah, Mt. Gox. Okay, fair enough. Well played. Well played. Mt. Gox had a supply crunch. Yes, I have seen the Finding Satoshi doc. I agree. It's probably the best that I have seen. And I've seen actually all of the documentaries at this point. And again, right, it depends on how you frame it. You know, some people saw it as an ode, right, or a love story, right, like an ode to. I think somebody mentioned that last week in the chat here. You know, like it was an ode to Len Sassman, right, and Hal Finney. I could see that. I could see that as well. I just appreciated their. The conversation was more about who those people were. Right? Like who they actually were. rather than a lot of the online drama, right? Or the social aspects of creating Bitcoin. It was much more about who they were and what they were working on. I appreciated that. Anyways, okay, let's continue. Oh, that was our chart for the centralized exchange reserves. Look at that, guys. Hey, Roman, good morning. Like, look at that. You kidding me? Yes, exactly, Jindung. The humanity behind. It's to me, that's it's not just me. I know that there's a lot of people like this because they're some of the most popular movies in the world. So I'd say the majority of us are like this, right? We appreciate, at least I can say I appreciate human interest stories. For me, like some of my favorite movies, right, are stuff like Jamie Foxx and Ray, or even, the movie Blow with, Johnny Depp, or the movie Shine, right? The David Helgoth story. Like just movies of overcoming adversity. It's a very strong theme as a human, right? The hero's journey. So I always appreciate that, and to me, that the way that documentary was made was, to a certain extent, it had many elements of this, and this is what I appreciated. All right, let's keep going, guys. Now it's time to make fun of some. Hold on, I'm going to have to pull up this chart. Now we're going to make fun of some Bitcoin treasury companies. Shout out Predator. EMPD just sold most of their Bitcoin, took down their Bitcoin treasury dashboard. Say it ain't so. Said they do not plan to buy any more Bitcoin. Oh, no. Wait, not buying any more Bitcoin now that it's in the dumps? Announced they may sell off the rest. No, they will sell off the rest, and have announced their pivot to AI. Wow. So you'll notice the pattern. The companies that had the least amount of money, right? The least amount of runway, needed the most amount of hopium, they're all pivoting to the next hot thing. Because this is how they keep the lights on. Because it's a frickin' grift. So before people get all excited to go out and cheerlead for this business is buying Bitcoin, it might be important to figure out if the business is actually a viable business buying Bitcoin and not just some crap, right? What is it? The free Bitcoin marketing publicity is over. That's right, Rourke. Now they expect to get paid. And what did they realize? They didn't get paid enough, right? Oof. Look at this monthly chart. Now, I will give it to them that at least they didn't reverse split their shares, okay, on their shareholders. Now, the one problem I am having, though, is that every chart I go to take a look at, because I wanted to show you guys the percentage that it went down, but for some reason, every single site I'm using calculates it as minus 100%. No, not that one. Yeah. Every single one of them is counting it as minus 100%. Now, check this out, okay? We're going to go, hold on. I want to show you guys this because it's a great illustration of how marketing works, right? How pump and dumps work, okay? All right, so keep in mind, guys, this is back in August, okay?
Believer in Bitcoin, something really interesting is happening.
Guys, remember that video? Hey, August 2025? I showed it here on the show. I was talking about how these businesses can't afford to hold Bitcoin.
Bitcoin spot is roughly 115,000. Our shares of EMPD Digital are being offered at effectively $89,000 per BTC. As of this morning, the 19th of August, you can buy into a portfolio holding 4,056 Bitcoin, representing a more than 20% discount to the value of those holdings. Some impatient hedge funds are exiting, driving down the share price, creating an opportunity to effectively buy BTC at a significant discount to spot price.
Ah, guys, they were having so much fun, weren't they? They were having so much fun. They were shilling the corn. Guys, that video is from August. Okay? I want you to think about that. See that? That was the dump. Okay? That's all that was. They IPO'd. This is what they did. It's just pure garbage. Just pure freaking garbage. Yeah, it's actually not. Unfortunately, Jackal, you can go back and take a look. That really is him. But however, that video is modified and they added the police music in the background, the SOS song. Yeah, it's pretty bad stuff. Anyways, all right, let's continue on. Let's see here, guys. Check this out. The website that turns the 1 second Bitcoin chart into an actual war. That's right. Good times. I love these games that are coming out. This is good stuff. It's pretty cool. But I think my favorite though has to be this this other one that who was it that tagged me in this one? Could have been Zappity, BTC or bust. Yeah, could have been BTC or bust that tagged me in this one. But this is really cool, and I saw that of course they had to make a Michael Saylor simp version of this. Yeah, take a look. If you haven't played this one, it's from Galaxy Mind. This is actually pretty addictive. It's actually pretty addictive. Oh, damn it. I got wrecked right away, guys. There we go. Not bad, you know? Oh, I wrecked again. Anyways, yeah, there's a reason I don't play video games. But yeah, guys, this is fun stuff, you know? So go check it out. Galaxymind.space. Obviously, the link is in the show notes. That kind of stuff I like. See, mind-numbing games like that. That could actually be a really interesting gambling game. And I know people don't like the gambling degeneracy sometimes. However, that could be a gambling game. You bet. It's good times. Anyways, all right, guys, you know the deal. Don't forget, sign the petition. Please don't forget to donate. And of course, so look, I think we're going to have Bitcoin tonight, tomorrow. I think we're going to have it. I'm going to know a little bit better later this evening. I do apologize, guys. People are moving. People are on vacations. It's summer. Such is life. There's a reason why they say may go away from the markets. But either way, thank you guys so much for joining me. Really awesome. And of course, amazing to chat with you guys. And I will catch you all, no matter what, whether we do Bitcoin tonight or not tomorrow. Still catch you guys at 12:10 p.m. Eastern. Take it easy. Have a good one.